how to become a decathlete 2 of 20, looking quite bleary-eyed here in the Sheffield Institute of Sport. So here we are at the English National Championships. Bit of a new experience all round. This might actually be the highest quality field I'll compete against all year. I haven't even woken up yet. Yeah, a couple of big miscalibrations that have happened so far already. First of all, yeah, I just didn't get good sleep. Not last night, but the 2 nights before. One on call in the hospital and one just waking up far too early. Just with stress. I don't wonder if this is actually affecting that. But yeah, I'm just a bit behind on sleep. Like, you know that way when you catch up, like have a good night's sleep, but you actually needed 3 good nights sleep back to back. That's where we're at actually. Second big miscalibration is I couldn't get the copy of the start times. And I didn't message around anyone to see if they had it, so we're actually not starting till 10 past 11, and I was up at like 10 past 8. And I don't need 3 hours to do a 2-minute car journey. I could maybe even have driven up this morning within that time. So yeah, just walked in here and there's no other athletes at all. So that's normally a sign that you're not optimising something if you're doing something so different from everyone else. You could hear them testing other start guns and everything. So yeah, what's at stake today? Well, this is just a big opportunity to compete in that kind of national level. It's an open championship, so later today there will be high jump with a starting height of 145. It's not like you can just start wherever you want. There's a certain level, but there was no qualification standard, hence I was able to get in. I could be the last guy on the field here. Is that Jerusalem? They're playing an upbeat version of Jerusalem. That's quite interesting. Chariots of Fire vibes, put it that way. Yeah, I feel very much like a Scot here. It's all kind of England. I haven't seen any roses yet, but I'm sure we'll get more Englishness. Yeah. There's not a huge amount of pressure here because I just can turn up and do whatever I can, see where things are at first meeting of the season. But there's a huge opportunity here. A huge opportunity to actually just pull out some good performances and not have a kind of slow build up to the season, just be like, no, let's just enter with a bang and see where we get. So plan just now is at least get my pole vault in, go and get paid up for the car park, and then get my like yoga mat and my foam roller, head up to the back of Beyond, plug in my headphones, some green noise or some white noise, and actually try and get not more sleep but more shut eye. Don't hit any caffeine for another hour at least, or else it'll be out of my system by the time we're even warming up. And yeah, it's quite exciting. It's not like I'm running out of things to say. I'm just like, how much of I should I talk about now? I think we'll do some different segments across the day, talking about the individual events and what my expectations are there. But yeah, huge part of this championship will actually be the social aspect and the communication, making connections with other athletes and seeing how they prepare, seeing what they do, trying to enmesh myself a bit more within a kind of a lattice of other athletes, so I'm not this kind of lone ranger. That's ultimately going to be the reality for most of the time, but it's time like this I really need to feed off of the environment, and there might be kind of connections and contacts that I make here that really help me going forward in ways that I can't even foresee right now. But yeah, that's something I'll come back to, that my athletic journey has actually been quite solitary for a lot of the time, where I was maybe injured or training by myself or not training as part of a group, or training as part of athletics clubs where I was the only senior male athlete even, and yeah, that peer group is something I'm really going to have today. Something that's quite good banter is there's going to be some under 20 athletes here who's really, they'll be the ones that I'm mostly competing against actually. They'll be their first or second, maybe their first heptathlon like myself. This is my first indoor heptathlon. And I was joking to some of them that were training in Brunel about a month ago that I would be like psyching them up and getting in their zone and all that. Laughing. So let's see if I can find these guys again and just like give them unnecessary antagonistic banter. Cool. Catch up soon. So I've got myself registered, I've checked my spikes, I've got my pole checked in, I've checked the timings, and yeah, paid for my parking, etc, etc. Given that I've got a little hotel that's like 3-4 minutes walk from the stadium, I'm just going to go back there until it's about an hour and a half before the first event, and then I'll come down and warm up then. Will I be able to get any more sleep at this point? Seriously doubtful, but yeah, I don't want to be just lying around the stadium for like 3 hours. Yes, I think the stress just builds. I think I'd rather get there like an hour and a half, an hour before, and just do my warm up and go and run the first race and get into it then. I've never been so organised for an event before. I've never been so far ahead of time. They said that the programme could be found on a PDF, but there was nothing about the actual start times on the PDF, and they said it was going to start 9:30, but you didn't know which events were going to be starting then, so yeah, I presume it's because we've got more events to do in the day than the other people that would just get us done first, but that was not correct. So yeah, hopefully this is not too risky to leave the stadium, but I mean, none of the other senior athletes have even arrived yet, so it's not like we're abandoning our post. Yeah, so update 3 coming soon. Alright, so update as I'm catching up with some R&R. Well, the competition's ongoing. When I finish this, it'll be an hour till the long jump. I've just completed the 60 metres. So, what was my performance? Yeah, it was really good. Really happy with it. Wasn't expecting to do as good as that. So, I was saying to coach that Coach Dennis from Norwich, that there's a wide range of performances possible today. So, and that's got good parts, bad parts, but yeah, it's a bit of an open book. So got back to the hotel, kind of zonked out for half an hour with some white noise. Didn't really fully get over to sleep. I was just kind of in a semi-dozing state, which was good. I've got a proper warm up in, and yeah, just got really focused. Got some caffeine in me, and just execute the start quite well. I'm still not 100% as just lightning fast and springy as I'd quite like to be, but first performance of the year, so yeah, probably just a bit rusty. So I ran 7:59. So if my memory serves me right, because I'm relying on memory and not on power of 10, because power of 10 is down right now, I ran a 7.4 back in 2018, and that's my PB. And then I think the year after I ran 7.6. So this is like a 7-8 year personal best. And I think it might be the fastest I've run since I had my bad car accident. Either way, I'm back down into the kind of mid-70s. And it wasn't as effortful. I did a video diary exactly this time last year at the Lee Valley London Indoor Games, and the whole thing was just a massive stress. There's another gent back there that's also reclining. It was just a massive stress, psychological. It was really difficult to get in the zone. Just all the other athletes, it was actually quite intimidating. Just this huge arena with about 200 or 300 athletes all running really fast, and there was I, a couple of months back into it, and yeah, just a lot of that's condensed and congealed and grounded and crystallised, and yeah, I'm doing much better now than then, so very positive. I think
if you equate the points in the 60 and the 100, they're similarly weighted and it's a similar event. I would say this is the fastest that I've ran legal for about 7 or 8 years. Um, in terms of the points that the 60 or 100 would get me. So that's really positive, and it's just the first race back as well. I've still got a bit more winter training in me. So yeah, lots of positives to take. So what's happened next? We've got the long jump. So I need to get some R&R for the next 10-15 minutes, and then get in long jump mode. Psychologically, there's just not psychologically, but focus wise, like attention wise, I really need to be zoned in. There's so much extra distance I can get here if I'm technically good. I'm only going to get 3 jumps, and I really need to be locked in. So, stereo cockpit. In the aviation industry, they have stereo cockpit when takeoff and landing, the most crucial points. They don't have chatter; they have silence in the cockpit. That's something that's sometimes implemented in the OR, the operating theatre as we call it in the UK as well. So again, I'm going to have to get into this stereo cockpit room, the kind of stage where it's essential communications only, just with the officials, maybe 1 or 2 like small calculated communications with other athletes. That there's 1 or 2 that I know I find quite relaxing, and there's 1 or 2 that might be able to say, hey, you attack that too hard, or you're too bent over or something. So just essential communications. Important here not to open any emails, no work emails. And then on WhatsApp, I'm back on WhatsApp, but I'm messaging coaches or key people in my team who will then encourage me. And yeah, if there's WhatsApp messages to do with work or other organisational stuff, I can just park that until 5 o'clock. So yeah, 1 down, 7 to go. Video update from Sunday morning, so I didn't actually update yesterday. I think the last update was before the long jump. It just got quite busy, and then it was actually kind of a busy evening. So 10 metre 06 PB in the shot, which is great. Just ripped that out in the first throw. Hadn't done too much shot practice at all, so that was really good. So where things went south was in the warm-up for the high jump. So I just hurt my knee and strapped it up, gave it a massage, waited to the very end of all the other warm-ups, did a wee quick run, jump on it, and it seemed okay. Went down to start height at 145. I was going to go a bit higher than that to just came in, got a jump, and then went to 150. And each subsequent jump was just more and more painful. So I didn't make the 150 that I'd easily cleared in the warm-up, which was really disappointing. Really dropped points. Not a huge amount of points, just a moderate amount. I wasn't going to be getting like 180 or something like that. But just really difficult to meet my goal of 3,500 today, unless I manage to get a good height in the pole vault. And I'm just going to have to ask at the time, like, how low can you go? So didn't sleep great last night. The hotel I was in, it was just really noisy. Didn't choose that well at all. Probably only got like 7.5 hours, and really needed about 9. So try to manage the stress, manage the caffeine, manage the knee, manage the brain. Things are going to get quite busy in the warm-up track for hurdles here. Big opportunity in hurdles if I execute this. Could be similar points to the sprint. So if I can really focus for this next hour and a half, it could really pay off. So catch up later. Right, update. I'm heading out to the car here for a bar of chocolate. So yeah, things haven't gone to plan with the pole vault. I didn't manage to register a height. There was a massive opportunity there because the starting height was 280, which was, with the extra chain I've done, very achievable. I cleared it quite comfortably in the practice runs, and then in the actual competition I just couldn't put it together. I don't actually know what went wrong. I was just coming up and hitting the pole. I done a nice long, slow, gradual warm up, got very comfortable, got my body really loose. I was just repeating the same things that I'd done in training, and probably repeating some bad things I'd done in training as well. yeah, it's really difficult because I'm doing something wrong and I don't know what it is. And that implication is then I'm going to continue to do that wrong indefinitely. I said that in Madeira, the no height in the pole vault was, likely to be a blip, something that I could correct. But yeah, I'm obviously in a similar position, and I thought it was maybe where the stands were, that they were too far forward in Madeira, but it wasn't, because I managed to get the stands further back, and the same thing happened. I was just smacking into the pole. Smacking into the bar. But smacked into the pole, that would have been not so good because it's stuck in the ground. The bar's nice and loose. So yeah, the 60. It was a clear PB in the 60. I was hoping for a 1 second PB in the 60 metre hurdles rather, which would have really helped me with the points. I don't need to really bounce back psychologically too much because I've only got the 1,000 metres still to go, which I'm going to give it my all anyway. If things had gone really well, I'd find it easy to lock in for that. If things hadn't, I'd find it easy to lock in. So I do need to maybe half an hour before just start to get in the zone again. But yeah, at least psychologically, I don't have to really get crazy focused and dialed in on some technical aspects. Let's see. I'm not gonna show my messy car here. Let's just hope that this. Oh shit! Where's my chocolate bar? That's that. Yeah. Oh, there it's there. It's in the side compartment. Cheeky chocolate bar. Okay, so yeah, this update's kind of run its course, but yeah, essentially, yeah, I could have afforded for just a really good series overall, and then have a bit of a melter in the pole vault, or what happened with the high jump yesterday, and then managed to pull out the rabbit with the pole vault. But a combination of both of them means I'm not going to get this 3,500, and yeah, that's quite disappointing. Body's still feeling okay overall. We just need to stick to our guns here, and yeah, there's more work to do. Taking a bit of a step out. Obviously, this is me competing at national level, the English national level. If I'm not meeting that pole vault minimum height, then I really can't classify myself as a national athlete. So officially speaking, and my goal to become a national athlete is clear that there was an opportunity to actually maybe say, well, in some ways I actually competed at national championships. I've already ticked at least one of those boxes already. So I have ticked that box, but not in the way I hoped to. Yeah. But yeah, you got to earn that, and yeah, I'm determined to earn that. And in some ways, I know that I cleared that in practice, so I'm pretty close. So yeah. Okay, pre-race update from the Sheffield English Institute Sport in Sheffield for this 1,000 metres. It's now half an hour to start time, and I've only just started to get up and move around, but I'm actually feeling okay. The race has been brought forward half an hour, which isn't a bad thing. I was essentially lying there for about 2 or 3 hours. Bit of a shift here psychologically. I mentioned that there's no technical aspects really to this. That's not completely true. There is a running form and running efficiency, and actually evening out the race, which is going to be tricky. But also in terms of my psychological approach, in these more technical, high-pressured events, where it all comes down to one moment, I need to really manage my cognitive load. So, what's all the things going around my head? How many different tracks or how many different stories are going at the same time? And yeah, having that space is something that is talked about in surgery and kind of safer surgery and non-technical skills, but also in the aviation industry as well. People make mistakes when there's too much fill in the brain. That's not quite what I've got here. It shifts a little bit more from psychological to emotional. We're shifting from thoughts to beliefs. And so I was watching the American football there that was on last night that I didn't watch because I was trying to get good sleep, which didn't really work. But yeah, I was just watching this really big playoff game. You know, my heart was in my throat for good chunks of it, and yeah, I thought I was going to have enough time to watch the whole thing, but it's going into overtime, so an extra half hour, and the race has been brought forward half an hour, so I've actually stopped it as it goes into extra time. Just because if they win, that's great, but if they lose, which I don't know at this point in time, that's going to be something that I'll then feel I have to process. And certain negative emotions can bring you into good performance. That's true, especially anger can lead to good performances. But yeah, I just don't want to be. I don't want to have any other emotional stuff going on at all. So what's happening just now? I'm going to get my foam roller out. I'm going to be running around a little bit, just making sure I'm plenty hydrated, plenty warm. I might put a nose strip on to open out my nose. And I've got my last wee dose of caffeine, getting some Heaven, my favourite band, on with some tracks that I connect with on a more deeper level to kind of connect with the gut. And this is a kind of gut checkpoint. And yeah, just at this point, I've done some training, but any of these little things that I do hope to create off a second or two in this race. I also need to find somebody who's going to be running in about 3 minutes and try and work out. And I want to be going round in about 35 seconds per lap here on the 200 track here. It's going to run round just now. So I'm going to be going around not quite as fast as those guys. So yeah, let's get after it. All right, so to wrap up the day, I'm literally standing in empty packets here. It's been that sort of weekend. Yeah. So we didn't reach our target of 3,500. It's really important to be clear on that. Like I said this time last year, if you set a target, you need to actually go back and acknowledge that I make it or not. You can't constantly be adjusting the goalposts. I got 3,100 and something, which, yeah, so I'm not happy with that. I think that's important to be honest about that. There were several positives to take away, but ultimately I was getting about 3,000 points, so that was my calculation this time last year, that I was performing about that mark. So to go up 100 points in a year is not really the sort of leaps and bounds that we really need. So there were so let's actually first talk about the 1,000 meters. Yeah, I slotted in behind a guy who I knew ran like 3 minutes, and I thought he was running something similar, but he actually ran 3 minutes 15, and yeah, I think I maybe underplayed it and thought I was doing well, and I had a good surge at the end. I ran a fairly even race, just didn't gauge it very well. I was kind of thinking I was going to be like 3 minutes and 5 seconds or something, and given some of the training, but I think I was just deconditioned. So yeah, I can't even bear the thought of doing another 1,000 meters, to be honest. But I had hoped that, given everything that I'd put into it, I would come out just a bit lower. This time last year, I ran it in 3 minutes 20, which was in a track just by myself one Tuesday night. So it's good to have a 5-second improvement on that, but you know, and I might have been a bit fresher then, but really in a year I think I'd hope to chop, 15-20 seconds off or something like that, get closer to the 3 minute mark. So yeah, I think that some of the performance aspects were closely related to my preparation, the kind of short-term preparation and conditioning, particularly in the jumps and particularly obviously in the pole vault. Had I got the 280 mark, I think that would have come in about 300 points. So, you know, I would have been pretty close to the 3,500 mark, even without the other jumps going well, and vice versa. If I'd got close to my PB in the long jump and got like a moderately good high jump in, then I could have no heighted in the pole vault and still made that. So I came 23rd overall. That was last place. They lined us all up in order, starting order, and you know, I got a cheer at the very beginning because they did the countdown. So that was good. It was good to stand there along with all the other athletes in England. Yeah, it was a bit of a silent victory for me as my first indoor heptathlon, which, yeah, there was, you know, maybe for some of the younger guys, they were, you know, exhilarated by that. For me, it was a bit different. And yeah, lots of learning, just like little stuff like put on like some nose tape to open up my interior nares on both sides, which I found helped. I wasn't struggling to breathe the same way as I'd done on previous occasions with middle distance. I'm going to do that again in future. The woman who came over to check me in was like, "Did you break your nose?" And so yeah, that's the raw side of it. Now obviously things process different over time. Where I kind of rue it is I actually people say, "Oh, you people have invested in me and I've let them down," which I think is a kind of a false humility. But I kind of want to impress my coaches. Actually, there's quite a few kind of coaches that I kind of want to be like, "No, I'm already at this level and I'm looking to go to this level," rather than, you know, I'm you know, still kind of starting out. So I wanted to prove myself. I didn't really do that. Yeah, and before anyone says, yeah, I'm not being too hard on myself, I'm just being accurate. You know, I did a lot of things good and there's a lot of things that aren't so good. Yeah, so I'll stitch these together as my episode for this weekend. I'm still planning to go to Glasgow. There's some questions about having a poll there. There's some further questions about would I want my family to be watching, just because they added kind of cognitive load or even emotional load. The emotional load would be good. Their support would be fantastic. The cognitive load, and yeah, onwards and upwards. Again, this time last year, yeah, temptation to get into this voice of, oh right, you know, this is you're a masters athlete, and you know, well done, participation medal, and you know, it's all fun at the end of the day. I'm not here to have just fun. I want to compete, and I want to get to a national level. I don't consider myself to be a national athlete. I compete at the national championships, but I don't see myself in that bracket the way it's defined. So excellent experience, and yeah, I really look forward to come back to this same one next year, doing better, moving up that leaderboard, and yeah, potentially redeeming some of the performances here, but just enjoying that transition. So yeah.